In this interview, I talked to a coaching client of ours named Joe Slack, who has a business in one of the more interesting niches that I've seen, board game design. Joe helps people design board games and get their games published through online courses, books, and a variety of other resources on his website. But in this interview, we focus specifically on a partnership strategy that Joe implemented this year that not only allowed him to grow his email list significantly, it also allowed him to launch an entirely new product that brought in over $10,000 in sales right off the bat. That partnership strategy was hosting a virtual summit where people could learn from other experts in the board game design space. So if you've seen virtual summits before and wondered if they're a worthwhile approach for growing your audience and getting more customers, you'll definitely want to listen to Joe. He goes deep into the details of his summit, including revenue numbers, how he recruited partners, what his product packages look like, and what he would do differently going forward. Enjoy. So Joe, what is your business? What do you sell? What problem do you solve?
Well, I'm a board game designer of all things, and I help other people design and get their games published and that type of thing. So I run the board game design course. I offer courses, summits, blogs, and that type of thing, resources for game designers, and I design my own games as well.
So how many products do you have? Like something that somebody would pay for?
Right now, I have 3 books, 1 course, and then I have my summit that I ran fairly recently.
Okay, so the books are all typical. You could buy them on Amazon. The course itself, what's the price point of it? And are there different tiers and levels of it, or talk through it a little bit?
Yeah, it's a $99 course. It's an evergreen course that's on my website that's available. And yeah, people can join in at any time. And then it also comes with community membership too, where they get calls with me and a Facebook group as well.
Okay, so do they pay ongoing for community, or is that just part of the product?
It comes with 28 days, and I sometimes do some promotions that allow, give 6 months or whatnot with the community. And then they would pay for it more on an ongoing basis if they wanted to continue.
Oh, cool. How much is that piece?
It's $120 for the year.
Oh, cool. Nice. So about $10 a month or so. So front end course, $99, $10 a month, paid yearly or quarterly or annually or whatever there. And then the summit, that's not a free summit, I assume. That's a thing you pay for, or walk through the mechanics of how it works.
Sure. So the summit was it's a totally virtual summit, and it ran for 7 days, so 6 days of interviews and then 1 day of Q&A. People could join for free, so a lot of people did that, joining for free. They could watch it during the duration of that week, but if they wanted to own it for life, they could buy that package, and there were 3 different tiers. They could buy the base summit. They could buy a platinum package that had all the interviews from the summit, plus some bonus interviews as well, with a bunch of the creators there. And then one bigger package that had everything in the previous, plus my course as well, and 6 months of membership in my community as well.
Okay. How much was that for the upper plan?
Yeah, so the prices kind of scaled over time. So there were early bird prices, and then it went up to kind of full scale. I think before the summit actually closed, if I remember correctly, the prices were 60 for the base, about 70 for the deluxe, and then about 130 with the course as well, if I remember correctly.
Cool. Awesome. So this year, over the course of 2020, revenue split between those books, course, summit, where's the majority of the revenue coming from?
I would say the summit was the big one. I would say out of everything that I sold, probably the summit was at least 50%. And then books, maybe 20 or so, and then course, the remaining 30, somewhere around there.
And is this first year for the summit? Like, is this kind of a new year with a new product in the mix? So it kind of changes the
very first
percentage?
time. Yeah, very first time running the summit.
So one unique thing you did with a summit, and it's kind of the nature of a summit itself, is typically you have influencers come on, you interview them, you do that over the course of days and release those, and the influencers promote them. So you kind of naturally have a partnership element built into a summit, in that the influencers will promote the summit itself. So talk through, one, if you don't mind sharing, what were the results of units sold and revenue from summit, and what part did the partners play in that?
Okay, so I sold a little over 100 total passes at all the various different levels, and it brought in about 10,700 in revenue, and which I was very happy with. And about 35% of the revenue came in through the partnership. So it was a huge portion of that.
Yeah.
One partner himself, he was not one of the guests, but he's also in the industry, and I knew him from some other events, and he was very happy to promote it. And he himself brought in about 25%, and the remaining partners brought in the remainder of about that 10%. So him on his own. And then some of the other guests of the summit also did promote and did earn a little bit of revenue from that as well. And I paid them each 20% of the ticket sales that they made. And if they went over a certain threshold, sold at least 10 passes, then it got bumped up to 25% on every sale.
So the total of the summit was a little over 10K, right?
Yes.
Total gross, and partners provided about $33,000 of that.
Oh, at least about 35%. So probably even closer to 4,000 almost.
Okay, so about 4K, and 25% of that, so about 1,000 came from one specific partner, and the rest from the remainders.
Oh no, sorry. Out of the 25, or sorry, the 35%, he was 25 of the 35%. So he was like 2/3 of that.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So how did you find him? How did you find really any of the partners? How did you identify them, and how did you reach out to them? How did you get them to agree to do this?
Well, naturally, anybody that was a guest of the summit, I asked if they would help spread the word and be able to earn some revenue back for referrals and that type of thing. And then I just reached out to a whole bunch of partners. So I used the Dream 50 method that GrowthU teaches. So I had a whole list of different people in my industry that I knew, some people that I knew, some people that I didn't know so well. And I reached out to as many people as I could. So people that I met through networking events, whose email lists I was on, other people I talked to in the industry, that type of thing, that I got to know over a little bit of time, and asked them if they wanted to get involved in this and help promote. And and it worked out really well.
Yeah. So you reach out to someone, you reach out to your main guy. He says yes. And then what do you do? So there's one thing to say yes to being interviewed. That's pretty low ask. But then to get somebody to send emails out and do promotions to their existing audiences, that feels bigger. So how do you bridge the gap between do an interview and promote the thing so you get paid and I get paid?
Yeah. So it was really about the incentive, kind of what's in it for them. So part of that was, exposure, getting, our fans to know each other, that kind of thing. But a lot of it was the compensation as a result. So, you sell a ticket, all you have to do is send out, some emails, let your followers know, and you can earn some revenue from this. So it's very little in terms of what the ask was. So it was just basically an ask, here's what's in it for you. You get some revenue back, and would you be willing to do this and maybe collaborate a little bit more?
Did you get the interview secured first and then ask, or did you do it at the same time?
Yeah, I did the interviews first. So I reached out to everybody to get them lined up for the interviews. And then once I had already done the interviews and had more secure dates for everything that was going on and all that, and had the tickets available, then I asked the guests and other people in the industry if they would be willing to promote it. And I just made it very easy for them. Here's kind of like step by step. Here's how you set up an account, and here's how you can promote it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite partnership strategies. The only downside is there's a little bit more technical planning needed, but it's such a great give, ask approach, in that, like, you do a summit and you promote them to all of your people. You're topically relevant to each other. And then once you've done the interview and they have a little bit of vested interest, then you just simply give them an opportunity, and they can say no, and that's totally fine. But I love that approach because you're giving first and then asking second. Do you plan to do the summit again?
Absolutely. It was such a success. I mean, not just talking financially, but also from all the people that came in. I mean, I had over 500 people added to my list, about 550 people. About 100 people, though, 100 of those people bought the summit, and the rest of the people just listened for free. But I did a feedback summary or survey afterwards just to see what people liked, what could be improved, that type of thing. And I got a lot of positive feedback. I mean, 83% of people said that they would definitely attend another event like that again. And then, majority of the rest of people said not sure, but I also got good feedback about how to make it even better next time. So I definitely plan on doing that because it was good financially, it was good for the community, it was good for the partners. I mean, it was just a great event all around, especially with COVID happening right now. Everybody can't get out to conventions and different events. It was a great opportunity for people to connect, and they said, they all learned something from this, especially since I tried to take not just like one stream, just all people who design games, but people who do rule books, do reviews, all different types of things. So I tried to incorporate a lot of different things. And a lot of people did make the comment that, I wasn't even thinking about these different things, and thank you. And I took something back, and I'm really going to learn a lot from it. So from that perspective, it just was so helpful for the community. I would definitely do it again.
How many interviews did you do total?
18.
18. Okay. So that's not too bad. And what will you do different next year, marketing wise and content wise?
Marketing wise, I'll start earlier with partners and everything. I only did a few weeks from the time it officially launched. I mostly launched it to my own list and talked in some groups and that type of thing, but I would start the promotion of that earlier, start the partnerships a lot earlier. And in terms of the format of the summit, a lot of people asked for a couple different things that I didn't provide. So I did the interviews and they were recorded, and it was just audio. So a lot of people wanted to see more visuals. So the person either talking or showing some slides, that type of thing. And they also wanted a little more interaction. So more Q&A, more opportunity to ask questions of the people at the summit. So I might do less interviews, but ask those people if they'd be willing to, at least for that day, sort of answer some questions or do a Q&A session maybe the next day. So maybe one day of interviews and then one day of Q&A or that type of thing. And I might leave it open a little bit longer at the end too, for people who might still, buy the pass or didn't have a chance to watch all of them.
So you do maybe the interview recorded ahead of time, drop it on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday have that person back in to answer a handful of curated questions that the community asked about them. If they're doing a rulebook training or something, you do the rulebook training a day or two ahead of time, and then you do a Q&A specifically on what they talked about and other questions people would have.
Exactly. Yeah. And I did all the interviews well ahead of time as well with this summit. It just made more sense to get it all done and edited and put together. But yeah, I would definitely consider that sort of like a pre-recorded and then a Q&A live with the experts.
Yeah, that's really smart. Have you sold other products to them since then? Any of the book sales or I guess course sales? Some of your people bought the high-end package that had it included, but has there been any residuals come in after the fact from those 500 people?
Not a ton yet, but so I mean, there's been the odd book sale. A lot of people who did want to buy the course, it was such a good deal. If they wanted to, they would have bought it with that with that pass rather. But the one thing I'm thinking is I've got another course that I ran one time and I validated, and there wasn't quite enough interest to run it again. But now that I've got so many people now on my list that were added, I'm going to go back and validate with those people and other people that have added to my wait list since then, and see if they would be interested in doing my second course and see if I can get that relaunched again. So there's big potential with that.
What was your percentages in the packages? What percent bought the top one that had the course included?
I would say about 30% bought the high tier pass with the course.
So you get 70 people that paid that didn't get the course. That could be a really interesting downsell to run.
Yeah.
Just a standalone email sequence to them. How long ago was the summit?
The summit was in September, so about almost 2 months ago.
Yeah, so 2 months ago, and you have you missed it but get it now kind of promotion where you flash sell just to those 70 people the course. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Cool. All right. Have you done any other partnership types other than the summit?
Yes, I've partnered with a number of other people. I've partnered with one person who does a board game bulletin, which is a magazine, and I'm doing a video for them right now, and they're helping to promote it back to my list. So at the end of those videos, they can sign up and download a lead magnet of mine, which is a board game blueprint, and they can get on my list. And I'm in contact with a number of other creators, some who were guests of the summit, and some who I just know through the industry, and we're collaborating on some different things right now. And there's even one of the other guests that was there. She does a lot of marketing in the industry. And there's another person I worked with who did the Kickstarter video for one of my games that I launched earlier this year. And we just had a call just the other day, and we were talking about combining forces either in some kind of referral system, so that when somebody needs help with their game, they refer them to me. If they need help with marketing, I refer to one person. If they need help with a video, I refer to that person. Yeah. And we're talking about ways we can even work together, kind of like a package deal to help people who have maybe had failed Kickstarters or that type of thing, to help them kind of resurrect it and look at how each of us can help do that. So come up with some kind of package. So there's some interesting ideas that we're talking about there.
Yeah, that's good. What do you expect to happen on the next summit? What do you project sales would be? Do you have a goal yet, or what are you thinking? Will it be, maybe I'm asking two questions here. One is like, how often do you do it? And two, what kind of growth do you expect between 1 and 2 by installing the learnings you've had since then?
For sure. I'm expecting to run it once per year. So I'm thinking it's going to be an annual thing. I mean, if it becomes bigger, I might do it twice per year. But right now, my thought is once per year.
Yeah.
And my projections, still a little early because I haven't lined up guests and I'm still kind of gathering my ideas. But I'm hoping to do at least as well on the next one. So maybe it will make closer to maybe 12 or 15,000 on the next one.
Mhm.
And I'm going to look at things like my pricing, what's included, and how I can get the word out more. But I think I can get the word out just as well, if not better. And a lot of people will be coming back. So I think it's pretty reasonable to think that I will at least beat my
Yeah.
targets from last year.
Who is your best fit client? Do they already know they want to make a board game? Or do you get people who are kind of like business opportunity where they're like, oh, board game, that sounds cool. I wonder if I could do that.
Well, in general, I get people who have already been working on their game, that type of thing, or at the very least have an idea and kind of want to get into it. It's not so much people who are like, oh, that sounds like something interesting,
Yeah.
because it is very much a hobbyist market.
Mhm.
But for those people who are going to be willing to pay something, whether for a book, a course, or something like that, they have to be just a little bit more involved than just thinking, oh, that's a neat idea.
Yeah.
They need to kind of be at the point where they, maybe working on their game for a little bit and they want to figure out how to take it to the next level, how to get it published, how to do a Kickstarter, that kind of thing. So they've been kind of a little bit involved already.
Yeah, that makes sense. And those are people that are further down the funnel are much easier to sell than
Yes.
ones that are hearing about it for the first time. What made me think about that, and this is not really equivalent at all, but it's in the same ballpark. Maybe a good friend of mine started doing probably 3 years ago. He started running this affiliate webinar, and he has a big author audience. And one of the partners that he did a webinar with once a year was like, "Hey, I got this webinar that's been working well, and for some reason it works with authors a good bit." And the product was a course on how to, I think I'm getting this right, how to customize different sayings on coffee mugs and sell them via whatever mechanism. I don't remember the exact opportunity now, but it's very much no one's probably ever thought about that specific thing before. But on the webinar, they presented it to a crew that was very interested in it when they heard about it, and it sells like it's the best promotion he does every year. Is this like random coffee mug thing? It's just like fairly bizarre. So I wonder if eventually, as your business matures and you go, if you can work down the awareness levels to people that are less aware of that opportunity, but present it to them, people that are interested in starting a business or interested in creative things, or maybe there's related, we can call it crafts, but related handmade items that might be, people that play chess or people that like, there's probably markets that like have a high propensity to want to create board games. Be able to go down market a little bit to people and present that to them as an opportunity. Like if you go through this course, you will not only be able to create your own game, you have the system to be able to sell it and actually generate revenue from it as well. Like as a business opportunity angle, eventually. I don't know. That's a random share that came to mind as we were talking.
Oh no, definitely worth considering. And I've definitely looked at, who are the people who are, buying my books and my course and who are interested in signing up. And there are definitely some people who, sign up to my email list or whatnot and are more like gamers and haven't really made a game before or whatnot.
Right.
They may never, or they may at some point in the future. So I think there's definitely someone there. A little harder to market to, of course.
Yeah.
But if I got the right product, then you never know.
What has been appealing to you about partnerships versus other marketing strategies you've tried?
I think it works really well because there's really no cost to me to ask somebody to do something. And it can be to their benefit because, we can share audiences. They can get a cut of the sales. That's not a big ask of them, especially if it's somebody who's already kind of in the same industry, somebody I know, somebody, that I respect, that respects me. And those people, I can go out and shout, oh, buy my thing, buy my thing. But if they have somebody that they're already following, that they already trust, they love the stuff that they put out, when they say, hey, check out this really cool summit that's coming out, we got all these guests and that type of thing, then people are going to listen to that. If they already trust that person, they're going to say, okay, well, I believe in what this person says. And if this person says this is going to be a really cool event or I'm going to learn a lot from it, I should at least go check it out. So it just really helps in that way.
Yeah. Any advice for someone that's wanting to start doing a similar thing? Maybe they're wanting to start a summit or just partner with influencers and companies in their space for doing that. Anything you've learned through doing these different partnerships you've done?
Yeah. In terms of doing a summit, just do a lot of planning. Be prepared to ask more people than you will actually need, because some people never get back to you. Yeah, I had pretty good success with that, but some people will never get back to you. They say, oh, they're interested, and then they don't show up, they don't book a call, or they don't show up for a call or something like that. So be prepared with backup plans. So if you can't find one person, find another. Reach out to partners early. So this kind of combines the two things. So reach out to those partners early, and give them resources. I didn't give them enough resources. I just more gave them a link and said, here's what it's about, that kind of thing. But if I gave them, some tailored things, maybe with a little bit of copy, with maybe some more images and that type of thing, then it would be a little easier for them to sell it. And then they could, just take that piece and paste it into email, just tweak it a little bit. So just make it easy on them. Give them something that's going to be interesting to them, whether it's, if you sell, one thing I did was, if you sell at least one pass, I'll give you a pass to the summit as well. So a lot of people would be interested in listening in anyways. So that's a bare minimum. Just sell one, and then you get something out of it. So you're already getting some benefit. And then just having something where maybe it can scale up, that type of thing. But yeah, just get to your partners early. Make sure that they are relevant to your market, and they would have a decent following, and that they are the same kind of audience that you would have.
Yeah. Joe, thank you so much. Where can people go to check out your course and check out your site?
Sure. You can check out boardgamedesigncourse.com.
Perfect. Self-explanatory. I love it. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thanks, Brian.
See you, man. All right, I had a great time talking to Joe, and one of the things I loved about it is how approachable Virtual Summit seemed after hearing him talk about doing one. You always know a strategy is worth the trouble if you talk to someone who just did it and they say, yep, I'm absolutely going to do it again. Also, if you want to do what we did for Joe, to do a full spectrum audit of your business, find 2 to 3 small hinges that could swing big doors, install a partnership marketing system for you like we did for Joe, so you can borrow other people's audiences and get customers as a result, go to growthtools.com/apply. We'll set up a free strategy call with you. We'll talk through your business, learn about you, and see if it's a good fit to work together. So go to growthtools.com/apply to book that now. And until next time, we'll see you later.